just like James Hetfield. And one of the things that Gibsons are known for is that the headstock, or where you would see the tuning machines at the top of the guitar, are angled. And so to do that and to create that effect, I'm making a scarf joint here. Now, this is definitely not going to be a how to build a guitar, because this is my first one and I learned a ton along the way. Now, to make this scarf joint and to glue it up, what I decided to do here was to go ahead and drill on the outsides of where I'm going to glue the joint up here. And what I did was I made sure to trace the actual neck and headstock of the guitar on there, so that these screw holes that I'm using to hold this in place while the glue dries would be able to be cut out later. And one thing that I think I noticed in all of the guitar build videos that I watched, and something that I certainly found, is there is a lot of clamping in building a guitar. There's a lot of odd angles for clamping. So you are going to see a ton of clamps in this video. And if you decide to build your own guitar, you will definitely need a ton of different clamps. Now, a lot of guitar building winds up actually being a lot of basic woodworking techniques. And here what I'm doing is making sure that I have a nice flat surface, because as you can see, I'm going to start doing things like routing out a channel for the truss rod, working on the fretboard. And for that, I need a completely flat surface. Now, you'll see these templates that I'm using. I downloaded a file, went and purchased one online, and then went to Staples and had them print these out on architect size paper, and wound up cutting them out and making the templates myself. And I have to say, new guitar building tip, I would definitely buy templates if you were able to. So here I'm working on the truss rod, and the truss rod is something that I think people that don't play guitar, and even a lot of people who do play guitar, don't really even know exists. So it is a rod that is in the middle of the neck, and your neck is going to bow and change over time, especially with temperature and humidity changes as the seasons change. And so this truss rod sits here under the fretboard, and you can make it curve one way or the other to either straighten or curve the fretboard a little bit. You need a little bit of curve or relief in the fretboard for everything to sound good. And so you need to have this truss rod in there. So I'm setting up a routing jig here with my router, and whenever I am routing for a particular piece like this, I use the piece itself, as you saw me there with the truss rod, to set the depth gauge for the router. And this is one of those processes that there's a lot of different ways to do this. If you have a nice square neck blank, you can use an edge guide and just draw a center line. In this case, making the scarf joint, it was a lot easier to just use this template. And this was the first of many specialty tools that I wound up kind of needing to build this guitar from scratch. There is a lot that goes into building this that I did not realize at the start. So when you look at the truss rod itself, it is a pretty uniform thickness and depth until you get right up to the head there. And so after I routed out the channel, I'm marking out how wide the head is. And so I'm going to need to use chisels and a couple other hand tools to make that section a little bit wider to accept the truss rod. Now, one thing that I was kind of interested to find is that this is really one of those things that you can do with very simple tools. You can do it with hand tools. You can do it with power tools. There's all sorts of great resources out there, if you look online or look on YouTube, of people who build amazing guitars with nothing but hand tools. And this was a portion of the build that I really felt hand tools were really the best for the job. I could have gone back in there and set the router back up and tried to route out a little deeper, route out a little wider. But using the chisels, the router plane was just a lot easier. So this is how we're going to eventually access the truss rod, is through the headstock. You drill a hole that connects from the headstock to the truss rod, and that way you'll be able to fix your neck over time if you get bowing. Now, before I went over to the bandsaw and started cutting everything out, I went ahead and put my template on and drilled out the pilot holes where the tuning machines will eventually go here. And there's a couple different tools that wound up being kind of the heroes of this build. And the bandsaw was definitely the first one. If you're going to be building a guitar, a bandsaw is a fantastic thing to have. As you can see here, I'm using it to cut out the body. You're going to see me here in a minute using it to cut out the neck. And it really was an invaluable tool to have. Now, again, you could do this all with hand tools, but this just made it so much easier. Now, if you're just starting out in woodworking, the bandsaw is a great skill to learn. And here you can see how I'm approaching cutting around this corner. The blade that I have in there is a little bit too wide, but I just make a bunch of relief cuts and then slowly go back in. And whenever you're using the bandsaw, one of the things that you want to make sure that you do, and in this case, I'm using the bandsaw as a precursor to a lot of template routing, is you want to cut as close to the line as you possibly can from your template without actually going into that line. So I'm moving fast here in the video, but this is not actual speed. I have this sped up probably 5 or 6 times the actual speed that I was going. And that's just for the pace of the video and so that you guys can keep the video moving here. But in real life with your bandsaw, you don't want to move super fast. Now, I want to talk about template routing because this is something that we see on social media a lot, and there is a ton of this in guitar building as well. And I have this sped up 150 times. It is 1,500% of its normal speed. I see far too many people on social media with far too much material left over, moving far too quickly, especially when they get to end grain, making things like charcuterie boards and all that sort of stuff. You see a lot of that kind of template routing out there. And the router table and routers in general are a tool that you really, really need to make sure that you respect and take your time with. So this is real speed here coming around the corner.
Because they some kind of a guitar building gatekeeper, and he says
so you can see how slow I'm actually moving. This particular clip is not sped up. The rest of these are definitely sped up. Again, same deal as the bandsaw, just to kind of keep pace and everything. Now, what I'm doing here first is I don't have a template bit that is quite tall enough, so I'm starting with a shorter bit, cutting most of the material flush with the template, and then I'm just going to raise the bit here and again go back through and make passes. And it's interesting, a lot of people that I talk to are pretty scared of the router table, and yet there's this dichotomy where we see a lot of crazy router table use on the internet, but then I think it causes a lot of fear with people too. So learn how to use your tools safely. So once again, back to the bandsaw here, and it's time to keep working on this neck. So I'm cutting away most of the material for the thickness of the neck. And if there was another tool hero for this build for me, it was that oscillating spindle sander. You're going to see that quite a bit in this build. So once I got the neck shaped mostly how I wanted it, it was time to start working on the fretboard. And this is what happens when you don't turn your dust collection on at the bandsaw. Not a good thing to do. I'm using rosewood here for the fretboard, so I cut it closely to thickness and then use the drum sander to sneak up. Now, the thickness ultimately is going to be 1/4 of an inch. I went ahead and cut it to 5/16 so that I would have some room for sanding. Now, of all of the
aren't you the smartest man in the world?
Guitars, I thought this one was probably the most useful. It is a fret slotting miter box, and it helps you set the depth for each fret, and along with a little jig, helps you cut each fret precisely. And this was my first time doing this. I didn't want to try doing it by hand. I'd love to try that down the road. Now, once you've made your fretboard, you want to make sure that you get it in perfect. You don't want it sliding around with all this glue. And yes, that is a toothpick. One of the tricks is that you drill some small holes through a fret slot near the bottom of the fretboard and near the top or near the higher frets and the lower frets. And you use those as registration points so that when you glue this up, it glues in nice and straight. You'll notice there's a white center line on the fretboard that matches with the center line there, kind of down at the butt of the neck. And the center line in guitar building, I found, is incredibly important. You don't want your fretboard going off kilter. And what did I tell you about clamps? There's tons of them. So now it's time to start shaping the neck a little bit more. And one of the things that you notice is I'm doing a ton of work on the neck first. I've seen people build these guitars in different ways. Some people start more on the body. Most people I know of start mostly on the neck in doing my research. And so that's where I'm doing most of my work. Now, here again, you can see this oscillating drum sander is a super useful tool to have if you are into building guitars. It just made so much of the shaping a lot easier. And again, what I'm trying to do is get really close to the final thickness of the neck before I go into all of the hand shaping and remove as much material as possible with power tools before I have to go in and start using a rasp. Now, what I've done here is marked on the sides where I know how thick I want those sides to be, and I'm just going to use this rasp to go ahead and work my way up. Now, you can see my super nice, super expensive cut up box that is giving me my neck profile. And what I'm doing is going to the 1st fret, the 6th fret, and the 12th fret. And I'm using a rasp, starting with a more gritty rasp and moving up to a more fine rasp and cutting out the neck profile in those 3 sections. And a lot of this is feel. You'll see me frequently throughout the neck shaping, reaching my hand in and touching it. So much of guitar playing is feel. And so a lot of times I'm feeling, do I have bumps and everything? And just looking for that feel of the neck. Now, once you've carved the correct profile at those 3 different spots, now all I have to do is connect the dots. So again, I'm going to use a variety of hand tools here to go ahead and move the bulk of this material. Again, starting with rougher tools and moving into finer things. And here I'm doing a little bit of work carving the volute. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm pretty sure it's volute. But making that scarf joint could, in theory, be a bit of a weak point there in the neck. And so the volute adds a little bit of thickness there right at the scarf joint. I also find it's a nice place just to kind of register your hand. And so you know as you're moving up towards that 1st fret, it's a nice spot just for playing. So once I got everything roughly shaped with rasps, then it was time to start a lot of hand sanding. And again, if you're not into sanding, then guitar building is definitely not for you. This is a really good trick that I picked up not from guitar building, but just from general woodworking. If you have one of those oscillating drum sanders or any sort of cylindrical object, you can wrap your sandpaper around that to give you something to work around curves. Makes it a little bit easier for hand sanding. It's a trick that I like to use a lot for furniture making as well. Came in super handy here for guitar building. Now, I elected to go with side dots only. I decided not to go with dots on the fretboard. And one of the things that was interesting about this is these are super tiny. This is a 2mm drill bit, and I'm drilling down. You can see just barely down in there, getting a little dab of CA glue in, and then I had to get some tweezers to use these tiny things. Now, they sell bigger material for this. These I just purchased, I think, from StuMac. But I'm CA gluing these in, using the tweezers to get them there, and then spraying a little bit of activator here to go ahead and light that up and get that to dry quickly. You may notice at the 12th fret, I had a little bit of an indiscretion. One of them came out a little bit out of alignment, but this is just for me. That's okay. We won't tell anybody about that. So back to hand tools here, using the chisel just to clean this up, and then coming back with a pass with my sander just to make sure everything is nice and flush. Now, this was a decision that I actually posted on my Instagram as to whether or not I should put some of these reflective fret marker dots on the actual face of the fretboard there. And the Instagram people voted, and they requested no inlay dots. So now I'm actually shaping the fretboard. And if you don't play guitar, all guitar fretboards have what's called a radius. And it basically is just a curvature to it. They go all the way from being very curved to almost completely flat. But you can see using this radiusing block that I'm sanding off the sides first. And this was a long process, but very worth it. You sand it and you go higher and higher up in grits. I think the grits got up into the thousands, and you can see here, definitely well worth it. Got a nice radius on there. And this is Honduran rosewood, and I just love the look and feel of a rosewood fretboard. And this is just really, really pretty material. So now the neck is mostly shaped, and it was time to start going into some of the other neck details before glue up. I went ahead and drilled all the holes for the tuning machines here in the headstock, and now it's time to actually put the frets themselves in. You can see I'm using some very specialty tools here. There's a fret depth gauge. With that sanding, I just had to go back and make sure that I didn't have any high or low spots. And I certainly did have a few, so I had to go back in and just kind of hand clean these out. Now, the way that you go about this is, as you can see, I go to each fret and I cut it a little bit oversized. So I'm cutting that thing oversized, and then this is a fret bending tool. There's going to be, I'm sure, some luthiers that watch this that I just hope you guys recognize that this is not what I do normally. So I'm probably butchering names of tools and all sorts of stuff. bear with me and give me some tips. If you think that I could do something better, you see that I did something completely wrong. I love doing this and I plan on building more guitars. So please feel free to leave tips for me. So you bend them to close to the radius, you hammer them in, and then you go ahead and clip off the excess. And then I'm using this sanding block just to get any sort of material that may be hanging proud over the edge of the fretboard off. And then what I'm doing is approaching the end of the frets at about a 45-degree angle. So it creates a nice kind of beveled angle there that'll feel really nice when you're playing. You don't want these frets to be completely straight there at the end. You want them to have that nice angle in towards the middle. Now, I've mentioned that there were a couple tool heroes of guitar building. The first one was the bandsaw. The second one was the oscillating drum sander, oscillating spindle sander sort of deal. And the drill press is definitely the third. And this was a project that actually really inspired me to go out and get a new drill press here recently, which is going to be coming up in a future video. So the body of the guitar has cavities for the pickups, it has cavities for the electronics, and then a pocket that the neck is going to go into. And you don't want to just start off with build, getting everything together. It's a lot of work, but nothing compares to those finishing.
With Geico, we can easily bundle home and car insurance and save even more.
Yeah, just like that breakfast burrito.
There isn't too much hot sauce, is there? I have a sense of
description has some great videos on how to build a guitar for beginners. So I am going to give you a sound test here. Of course, with copyright issues, I can't play any Metallica songs. So I'm giving you some Metallica-esque riffage here so that you can actually hear how the guitar sounds. It sounds great. It looks amazing. And I am so happy and so thankful that you checked this video out. Thanks for watching and enjoy.
What kind of phony is this? You make a James Hetfield guitar, you don't put his own signature pickups in it? You just think you're a tool. Or is that them? That might be them. I can't tell. No, this is the right one. He put the right ones in. Okay. I thought he was a phony. Headshot. Stupid. Better than I could do.
What do you think of Blink-182 being back together with Tom, your dad, Mark?
I think Tom is one of the coolest guitar players ever. Like, I was literally talking about this last night, and I was watching old, like, Feeling This video, and just, like, his swag on the guitar. And me and, like, my friend were, like, having a debate of what's cooler, to play your guitar, like, low down to your knees or play it, like, up on your chest. And I was just arguing the point that, like, playing it low to your knees is the coolest thing ever.
You have to bring the strap down.
Yeah, you have to. He was like, because it all started because he was like, is there a reason that your guitar strap is this low? And I was like, yeah. But honestly, so cool to see them back together.
So this is me at 15 years old when I was homeless in Southern California. And this is my friend Josh, who I was homeless with. And we both had a rough home life, but Josh's was far worse, as he was essentially raised in a flop house. And the way that
crawling at her.
And all you see first was the raisinets, and then she's
Yeah.
smacking on those.
The hell is that?
Where my
Y'all done
snack?
summoned it?
Where my snack?
That was funny. Because
Y'all done summoned.
we were calling for a good like 5 minutes. Where is Queen at? So she could stop you.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Look, I had an empty box of goobers. Here I go with my raisinets.
Man, hey, I meant to show more love to May. May be putting it down. I love May. Hey, that girl be doing the thing. She represent the situation room.
Who that talking about something, y'all?
Yeah.
Nothing. Go to bed.
I don't see that. Maybe you can see it only.
In the comments, you don't see it?
Mm-mm.
They don't have no friends anyway. That's
What's that?
why-
Say? What's up, y'all?
Yeah.
Who is that? He's
Nobody
back
got
again,
no-
huh? More ban his ass again.
Who, the anonymous?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that motherfucker this time again.
What he be
What
talking
did he
about?
do?
What he
That's
wants
the one to put. He was probably trying to put. That's the one to try to put nigger on the screen before.
Shit, let him talk it out though.
He ain't got no. He ain't got no followers.
Nah, don't
Did you
do
miss?
that.
Did you miss what happened? I think nope. Mark, did you hear what happened last night? Not last night.
Gabby, you got your days.
No, she fine though.
what-
No, the day before I wasn't on until like 9. So yeah, I missed a
I
lot.
went on to like 9.
Which one you talking about? What you
Around-
talking about, Gabby?
I don't think you were on
The who?
either. What time did I hop on? Yeah, it was about, I don't remember, like 7 with that guy saying the hard R earlier today.
Oh no, it wasn't me. I wasn't. there.
Oh,
No, it was
No,
right
uh-uh.
after they dropped
Oh my
it. You took his
God,
box.
look.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I-
where my
I-
chicken
I-
wings at?
yeah. I had came up, but I was in the comments.
They do.
Yeah, I was in the comments. I
Mhm.
banned him. I blocked. I reported and I blocked him.
Mm-hmm.
I know who you talking about.
The West
Yeah, I
Virginia
got his
guy.
ass too.
I missed a lot. I had to get
Tap the
home and get
screen.
situated.
Tap the screen. Send. You gotta send galaxies. You gotta send gifts. Y'all down there talking that deer shit. Get out of here.
Yeah, you in here? Goddamn, tap. Talking about some hate, dear.
Nah, Olive, how you doing?
Shit, man, let this motherfucker in the bus right quick.
Yeah.
You drive. I'll tell you where we're gonna throw him out at. Put him in the bus.
He got 62. He got 62 followers. He got 62 followers. Y'all want to let him up for a minute? I'll send him an invite.
Ain't no let him
No.
up. He ain't request stuff.
No.
Yeah, he ain't request stuff, so we'll let him live down there. I mean, just pick him apart down there.
Who is this right here?
That picture behind him, put my boy up in the red though. Where my man at? Put that, hey, Queen, put my man up. You want to talk about something? Let me give you something to talk about.
We call him
What?
Huh?
Gabby, what's your question?
No, go ahead. I didn't hear you. I didn't know you were talking.
Is we talking about Buford or Ulysses?
You
Oh.
with the red hat?
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
Ulysses T. Buford.
You know, that's Milton behind you. That's Milton behind you. I want.
Yeah, you got
Milton gave him another name too.
Milton came on
Look, can I have a
camera
rip it up
to
soda?
reveal who he really was.
No, you don't. I
He
don't
said,
need it. Why? I don't make him drink it.
Didn't he? Live and
I don't really need it.
And meant that shit. And he meant that shit because it was tried and true, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Milton say, hell, he did that Willie Nelson. He said, I know Willie. And he said, that's why I came on here, because that looked like me. I seen that on your background. I thought that was me. He had to come up and pull up.
Look, it could be.
Yeah, but
He was straight with it, though. I got to get into it. He in Galveston, outskirts of Galveston, Texas.
Hey, Queen.
Representing, though.
Hey, you got a bunch of them around here that look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, a lot of them people, they put on that front, though, for their family with the little rebel flags and all that. You know what I'm saying? But deep down inside, they voting the other way.
This backdrop was bringing them in.
Yeah. If my papa knowed I was hanging out with y'all, boy, we'd be in trouble.
That sound like a North Carolina crap.
Yeah, it's a fact, though.
That's why it's weird how everything else is blue in North Carolina, but the presidential is always red.
Yeah, and they doing everything they can to just take the powers away from the governor in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta look at the South from back then.
They red
It was built off slavery, right?
They the real
So what did they do though? How did they change that? They put you out in textile mills. The South, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You went from picking cotton to working into a textile mill.
Right.
You work in production.
Because you remember the textile mills and stuff was coming from up north.
On production. That's what they did. Another form of slavery, right? If you don't produce such and such, then why I'm paying? Just like when you taking that cotton out the field and they weigh your bag.
Then they had peace.
You know how long you know how long it take it. You know how long it take to pick 100 pounds of cotton.
Yeah, I know.
All damn day.
No, you gotta think about what it takes to toughen your hands up.
Yeah,
That
because
part.
they didn't have gloves back in those days either, like they do now.
That part right there, that cuts your damn hand up. Man, you know what, Dub, you know what it is.
I ain't never
Yeah.
ever picked no cotton.
I made teriyaki salmon, asparagus, and some edamame. Let me show you how I made it.
I'll show you how on that end.
Unsheath the salmon.
Ooh,
Try not to touch that. That's raw.
It does. It literally looks like salmon.
What do you mean it literally looks like salmon? It is salmon.
Flip it over. That's what can I touch it?
Sure.
It's gonna feel like I'm touching. Oh my god, that feels
All
like.
right, go wash your hands. Get out of here.
Wait, wash your hands.
Get
Is that
out of
gonna let the
here.
fucking kids touch their fish? That's like a monster. Let the kids touch the fish. Who's getting hurt in that situation, asshole? They go wash their hands. Put those things in the air fryer for your dog. Be a decent human being.
Super simple marinade. That's
Simple
delicious.
marinade. I'm gonna load this shit up with sugar, soy sauce, and MSG.
That's it. That's it. A little
Wasn't
bit of
too
soy
far
sauce.
off.
Cover it up. We're gonna mix this together. Let it marinate. And that's it. And I'm the biggest of liars. We need some garlic, and I have garlic on the hand, so we're gonna do just a little bit of garlic.
Garlic on hand. Who doesn't have
All right,
garlic
that's
in their
so
home?
4 ingredients: sugar,
Wow.
soy sauce, salmon, garlic.
You
That's
plan
it.
this out.
Mix
You didn't
this
just
up,
happen
let
to
it
have
marinate, and then we're gonna air fry it. We're gonna serve this with some asparagus and some Costco edamame and a big old pot of rice, but it's not right there yet, but it will be. Don't forget to wash your rice. Rice is washed. Let's use homemade chicken broth and get that going. Next up is asparagus. All right, so there's that, and then we're gonna put a sauce on top, which is just soy sauce and
some more sugar water on top of it. You're scared to let your kids touch
I don't
fucking
have a time.
raw fish, but you're gonna give them all this sugar.
425, something like that. Oh, I should spray this down, huh?
I'll see. I'll see.
Here is the salmon. Just came out. 400 in the air fryer for
Oh,
9 minutes.
under the air fryer.
This giant Tupperware. Let's put it in there.
Tupperware. Oh, this guy's from somewhere.
I took the leftover marinade and I put
In
it on
Rhode
the stove,
Island.
and it got really thick and really nice.
He's clearly
The
from somewhere
glazed
within the
salmon
tri-state
in there.
area. He's trying really hard.
That's done. Let's get everything set up.
Come on, kid. Let's go down to the pizza parlor.
Teriyaki glazed salmon.
Let's see. Oh, he is a Asian. Okay. He's annoying.
I made teriyaki salmon.
I made
asparagus,
teriyaki
and
salmon.
edamame. Let me show you how I made it.
Ramadame. I made it. It sounds good. You would be lucky to have some.
Well, it's my first base in Planet Mortis, and it's a Gibson 76 T-Bird. And I want it back.
Steve McDonald's base that was stolen
1982.
in Phoenix, showing up in
Tucson.
Hollywood Boulevard,
Tucson, Straight Cat Club, 1982.
showing up on Sunset Boulevard in 1994, 12 years later. I remember this base. It's in the Slog movie.
That's amazing. Altered serial number, violation of 537E of the Penal Code, possession of a musical instrument or personal property with an altered or defaced or
How can you
false
tell
serial
that it's
number.
altered?
Gibson serial numbers don't look like that.
No, it actually just have a circle around it too.
Hey, one's obviously altered.
We got sushi, seaweed salad, Connie salad, soy sauce dish.
Oh,
Straighten
God, you're
that up.
trying to act like you're from New York, too.
We are having a chill
No motherfuckers really
chill
speak like that here.
night. Very chill. If you catch my drift. Okay, this is eel sauce. Yum. We got spicy mayo eel soy sauce. For the rolls today, I got my yellow tail jalapeno because I love that. And I got a volcano roll. Decided I'd try it out. That's how I like to spice up my Connie salad. If you don't like to do it, don't do it. To each their own. Extra spicy mayo, and I like soy sauce in mine. Yum. Let's take a first bite together.
Together, forever.
So good. Then you know the drill. This is seaweed salad.
My family and I have been saving to go to Disneyland this September/October. We've been saving since last September, October. Originally, we were doing DoorDash to Disney, but we have since switched to my husband's TikTok income being saved for Disney. All of our Disney savings is saved in our Ally High Yield Savings account. So here's what the account is looking like nowadays. We need to distribute money to our kids' savings accounts. They each get half of their age deposited weekly into their savings. And then anything left over should represent my husband's TikTok pay, and that's going to go straight to the Disney fund. Ally allows you to organize your high yield savings accounts into buckets. So each savings goal has its own space, but any interest earned or any information like that is just.
That Jason would really like to join the band again.
I popped this little bubble for a second. I don't know, man. I'll be quite honest. I think the heart and soul of Metallica from this point on, and has been for a while, since Cliff died, is the three of you guys.
Fuck you, buddy. You just want to play in the band.
Never ever find a permanent bass player. My opinion.
Except you.
Hello.
Hi, honey. Is this Jennifer Tice?
Yes, it is.
This is Sue Dillon. I live down the road from you, and I just wanted to let you know that your daughter Candace Tice was walking your dog Nayla, the pit bull, and she let it shit in my yard, and she did not pick up the poop.
Who is this?
Sue Dillon.
Who?
Sue Dillon.
And where do you live?
I live right down the road from you, honey, in Arkansas City.
Okay, where at? Because Candace normally doesn't walk Nala. How do you even know the dog's name?
I heard her saying, oh, Nala, you were pretty pity, you were pretty pity.
Okay, so why didn't you stop her and tell her to pick the shit up out of your fucking yard then?
Because I thought her mama should know what she's doing. And
Candace is 23 years old. Why the fuck are you calling me?
well, I'm not your daughter's boss, honey, and you know how people are with their kids
I'm
nowadays.
not here. She's grown. What's your name again?
Sue Dillon, honey.
Sue Dillon. And where do you live at?
I live 3 houses down from you, honey.
3 houses down where?
Down to the left, honey.
On the other side of who?
Of your house. I ain't giving you my address. You crazy.
Well, let me tell you something. Bitch, you kiss my motherfucking ass. How
I
about
will.
that?
Bend over, honey. Let me get my red lipstick on.
I tell you what, you bring your motherfucking ass to my house and I will beat the fucking shit out of you.
Let's go, honey. Let's go. Hoo, 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 hoo.
Hello?
Hi, honey. Is this Jennifer Tice?
Yes, it is.
This is Sue Dillon.
Who's this?
This is Sue.
Sue.
Sue Dillon, you remember me?
No.
From high school, honey. Think way back. Math class, me and you.
Sue Dillon from high school. Sue Dillon.
Yes.
Sue Dillon. Sue. I don't know. I got a bad sore throat right now, so this isn't my real voice. I got a bad sore throat right now. But anyway, you must have found me on Facebook or something.
I did, honey. I thought, well, I need to catch up with that bitch. I miss her. Hi, honey. It's Sue Dillon. I heard some of y'all are wondering how you get me to call somebody for you. Prank calls? Yeah. Every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central, I'm on here. They pre-book for Sundays to see on my link tree. There's other options there to order too. And when in doubt, go to the link tree. It's the link in my profile. Okay, it says order call here. I got other stuff there you can check out too. Sundays with Sue is lit. As lit as a Virginia Slim. Another way to.
Hey, could we get you to take a picture of us? Yeah. Sorry to bother you. No.
Boogie with a suitcase. Y'all living in a disco. Forget about the rat race. Let's do the milkshake and sell it like a hotcake. Try some, buy some, beat by four. Talk about. Pop music. Talk about.
Hey, could we get you to take a picture of us? Yeah. Sorry to bother you. No.
Radio, video. Boogie with a suitcase. Y'all living in a disco. Forget about the rat race.
Hello, may I speak with Lori?
This is Lori.
Lori, your damn cat keeps.
Y'all, we made the paper. Bert and Ernie made the paper. Bert and Ernie from the streets made the paper. That's crazy to me. Look, my mom is right there. Oscar the Grouch. She's rapping. Forgot about Dre because another table challenged her to do.
Thank you, sir. Hey, baby, this is Sue. Hello, may I speak with Scott?
Scott.
Scott, the construction you're doing is disturbing the peace of my house and my chickens. Hello, is this William?
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to know where you got them Cookie Monster boxers. My husband really likes them.
Oh, those are pretty nice, aren't they?
Yeah, I love watching you walk out to check the mail and whatnot in those or take the trash out. Yeah, you're bringing sexy back in them. Don't tell my husband I said that. Yeah, he don't really care. He's not the jealous type. I'm a lot lizard, so he knows I get around.
Where you at tonight? What you up to?
Well, I think I'm gonna stop by the Loves off the interstate and hang out a minute. Hi, honey, it's Sue Dillon.
Spanky's real name is Taylor Gray. I call him Spanky.
Hello, may I speak with Damon? I was wondering if I could hire you to do a sprinkler system here.